Welcome. Before I get started on light language and inner child healing, I would like to encourage you to sign up for my mailing list. There's a link beneath this video. When you do so, you'll get great content that'll help navigate these crazy times we're living. If you could also like and subscribe, that would be really great as well. Thanks. So, light language and inner child healing techniques. When I first became a healer quite a few years ago, I somehow organically moved into the area of inner child healing. It became sort of a passion of mine to understand where all of our wounds originate and how they keep unfolding over and over in our lives, that we're living on some sort of an automatic pilot. And after working with many clients, I've sort of outlined and understood this process deeper and deeper. Now, when my light language came through a few years ago, it really did become a part of the healing process. Izo tushtea shion bukute se e tushta kumuki kamakike. Izo tuyo shoshomiyoko katsia. Izo tushta kamuka. Izo kuya shaka umbuketsi yetesha. Izo kuya tokumokaka se e tushtea shoshomiyoko katike sa atati shokomoko kakika. So my process involves helping my client understand why their life is the way that it is. So there's sort of an awareness part of the process, a know thyself part of the process. And I think it's important, it's an important part that you have to understand what's operating in your life. You have to become the observer and start doing some self-analysis. When you do that, you then understand why you're triggered in certain ways, in certain situations. And that, from my perspective, it's often when you react emotionally, it's often your inner child that's reacting, not your aware adult. So the process also involves diving into those emotions to actually reveal them to you, to actually look at what's on the bottom of the pond of your consciousness, what lays down there, what was laid down very early in your life. Shiu kakamaki katsa atushtea shumayo dogoyondaki komotoya. Iko tashte kimiko kabakiko, cheke esota akiko makatoshte kikama. Izo toshte ashta kamia, kakatse esutesha akokamba. Izo kuyata komokaka, ejutea shashiyama kike, izo toshtea makika. Ezotushtakamaka, ushteashta mukika, akakutushta ambakoya, ezotushtakomukote se etushtea shumakoka. So the process involves feeling emotions that you might not have ever really delved into before. As a part of the coping mechanism, the little child splits off from those feelings and they sort of sit in our peripheral awareness, yet having a huge influence on what we are magnetizing to us every day, day after day. And that energy that we are emitting, according to the law of attraction, magnetizes those incidents, those situations to us. And there's a reason for this. It's the other name, I believe, for the inner child wounds is your unfinished business from other lifetimes. So we are magnetized to our parents because their energy, their issues, their frequency, their perceptions most closely resemble what it is we've yet to understand or own. So we come in and we are set up energetically to emit a frequency so that we have these experiences drawn to us, so that in the moment of that triggering, we wake up and we understand that that is not who we are. That's not our identity. It's just an energy that we are trying to process, trying to understand, trying to gain the wisdom of. And often that's wisdom from both sides of the spectrum, both ends of the polarity of that. So we can often have one life on one end of the polarity, say tyrant, and then to understand it, we come in as the victim at the other end of the spectrum, so that in this experience, we are understanding the totality of the duality of this plane. Eshtukumokikatsa atishdestumoyondabukekatsa. Isostoyomakakikatsa ateshushamakike. Isa tushtaka mikokamakike, osaya tushtakama. Ezu tushtaka ikokote gombe tushtaka akakache esa amakike. Isa teshtakama, esushtaka, ezu tushtaka mikakamakiketsa. Ezu teshtushtamoya ikoka se etu. So when you start feeling these emotions, you turn and you face them and you dive into them. You begin to process them. So becoming the observer of what you are processing, of what you are triggering, is an important first step. And then the second step is to actually dive in and feel it, to breathe it, and to not resist it, but to become the observer of the emotion, the observer of the depth of what it is you are feeling, and to keep moving through it and keep moving through it with that perspective of, wow, this is my past. This is a program. This is what I am here to understand. Isa tushta mokakakikatsa atesh tushmoyondakikokatsa atea. Igokeo sumoyo tokoyo ustakemokikatsa etushtemiyandeke. Isa teshtukama, isa stayo mayo nayondakakikokache eseana. Ezo tushtekmikakamakika. So the light language comes in this process when, like throughout the entire time, through the English explanation, through the revelation of the patterns that you are living over and over, and explaining in light language what I'm explaining in English. So there's sort of a double healing going on here from the head aspect and from the heart aspect. Ian dako kocheka mate si itama. Estushta komoko kamate, este umayo. Isa kiko kambatse, esu, ushamia akoka, esu toyo shumia takika. So the energy of the light language gets absorbed by your system if you're willing. I mean, it is absolutely a willing, you need to agree to this energy being absorbed into you. It's never ever forced upon you. But if you are open, if your soul is open to incorporating the energy of the light language, it starts preparing your energy system and changing your energy so that what you emit begins to reflect that new knowledge as well. Estu kamakiketse, esutema maya te kokache to so kakakache ke enda kamiaka. Isakiko sea tushte kimike kamakike, ezotuyo shtokumokike, esaya tokoya. The light language also plays an important role when you are feeling the emotion. So the processes that I take my clients through, we drop into those emotions, and there are simple exercises that I take people through to help them open to feeling this, to facing the emotions, and then to dropping them and letting them go. So in the moment of feeling the depth of that emotion, when you drop into the center, the light language will come through and help you transmute it. It helps you recode that energy at the core of that emotion. It helps recode that program. It helps change your energy signature. Ikokatsi atushte kumukeka patsi atushte mayanda. Ikokatsi atushte yomukoya saka akike. So if you're having a difficult time letting go of certain emotions, if you're having a difficult time becoming the observer of these habitual knee-jerk reactions to situations in your life, the light language is incredibly powerful in helping you take those steps, helping you make those changes, helping you shift that part of that grief or that anger that's encoded in your energy signature and in essence in your DNA. Ezo tushti kamakike se etushi o makika. Ezo tushta makoko yoshte yoshta mayande kike. Ezo tushta mayase koka. Edo tushta kamia kakamatsia kake. So I am putting out a whole series of products that's going to be incorporating inner child healing and light language. These will be videos, mostly videos, maybe a few audios, and lead you through a process that I would normally take my client through. So it'll be working out what your pattern is, working out where this comes from, identifying the program or the autopilot that you are on, and then dropping into the feeling and then letting it go. And throughout this entire process will be the light language. We need a lot of help at the moment because a lot of deep stuff is coming up to finally be seen. And I've used the analogy before of the sediment at the bottom of a pond, and that sediment has stayed there often throughout our entire life. And yet that sediment, that energy is still being emitted and being transmitted out into our reality. And thus these people and places and things come towards us as a match, as an energetic match to that frequency that we are emitting. Is it teostomoki kamakokoya show usteomokit saatia kamokika ezotushtemiaka. So sign up to the mailing list and I'll let you know when those courses are available. At the moment, I do have a workbook that is available, and that will take you through these processes that I take my client through. They're really simple processes, but they're an important first step to really letting these old frequencies and old patterns go. Because the first step is turning and feeling and dropping in and breathing and acknowledging the existence that these things, these perceptions exist within us. So also, I have a link for that workbook underneath this video. Eshushi miande koka, io yamaya, ie naiea, io yakumba, ea taka umbena, eseyote to esta ashtukumbuke, ezotushtakumoke katse etushtea. Izotushtakama kiket sa oteshtaya. Izotuyoshto moyota deviki kombat seeteshtaka akiko kombandia. Izotuyosh tushte mekikat sa atetushte mianda. Izakioka kamakike ujdea tokokea sa atia. So I'm open to answering any questions too. So if you would like to pop me an email or a comment below and I'll answer whatever questions that may come up. So thank you. Have a fabulous, wonderful day.